What's happening, Shredder Nation? Happy Tuesday! I know it is a Tuesday night for a Shred Your Body call. We are 8:30 Eastern Time live, and I am not Jesse James Jaminek, but I am Heather Sica Leonard, the head of the ER Shred board, and I am honored and excited that I get to be here with you guys tonight, sharing stories. I absolutely love the Tuesday night calls because it's not even about how wide we have gone. On Wednesday nights, you're going to hear how wide the ER Shred is spreading, and it is spreading like wildfire. But what I love about the Tuesday nights call is that it's about going deeper. And so I am honored tonight that I have our friend Megan McIsaac with us, and she has agreed to let me be the one to ask her these awesome questions. So welcome, Megan.
Hey everybody, how are you? It's so great to be here. I'm so excited to share anything with you.
And I'm so excited you're here and I get to do this call. It's so fun because I think I also got to talk to you on your Come Alive call.
You did, yes.
See, you get me when I take over as Sean. You get me when I take over as Jesse, and I love it. This is so much fun. Girl power, right?
That's right. Girl power it is.
All right. So, Megan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're calling in from?
Sure. My name is Megan McIsaac. I am a horse trainer. I own my own business. I am from Oregon, Wisconsin. I am currently here training in La Cresta, California for the winter with my trainer, Kathleen Rain, until the end of March.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. Yeah, so it's a huge undertaking.
So you relocated for like 6 months?
3 months. From January 1st to the end of March. I'm very fortunate thanks to like the Nest camera and technology, which I have, as you could see, I really kind of struggled to even get on here. I am way better with horses. Way better. But I actually teach virtual lessons and I have 2 sale horses out here with me. And so I'm very, very grateful and fortunate to my clientele who is still in Wisconsin that they allow me to continue my education, improve my riding, and actually simply just take a break and work on me here in California.
That is so awesome. And yes, technology can be a blessing and a curse. And I feel like we have gained so much through technology that it has helped us through this last year be this community that is growing like wildfire. And I absolutely love it. So I know that you've been shredding with us for about a year, but I want to talk before the shred. So what was it like for you growing up? Where did this passion for horses come from?
My sister put me on her horse at the age of 2, and I just wanted to ride horses. So every time I saw a horse, I was like, I have to ride it. I have to ride it. And I begged my parents, and finally at the age of 8, they started taking me to formal lessons to Triple K Stables right down the road, about a mile down the road. And I started taking lessons. And from there, you know, I said, I want to ride in the Olympics, just like everybody else. And so that's what I have been doing the last 32 years, riding horses.
That is commitment. That is so awesome. So I am not horses. I've never actually ridden one, I don't think. But I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't like to always assume things, but I'm assuming it was a very active childhood because it takes a lot of strength and endurance to ride horses, correct?
Oh, yeah. The only thing that trains you for riding a horse is riding a horse. And I was fortunate. My father said, let's build a barn. I need a shop, and Megan can learn responsibility and take care of the horses. And so at the age of 9, we had 3 stalls, indoor riding arena, and I actually wrote checks, ordered hay and shavings, and took care of them. So yeah, it's a lot of work. And that's a problem because I turned into a workaholic. So that's why this me time is perfect to work on self-development.
And somebody's watching with us. I see this little comment. I proposed to her horseback riding, and I'm going to guess it's not just a random Facebook user.
I don't know who it is, but it's got to be someone I know. Hey, thank you for joining.
Oh, wait a minute. It might be Sean, because Crystal has a true love for horses too. I proposed to her horseback riding, so I wonder if that's the captain just not following the rules about.
That's awesome. Well, I am happy to get anyone on a horse. I have school horses I can put you on back in Wisconsin.
That is fantastic. Yes, I was correct. I was able to figure it out. It's the Captain Caveman. His Facebook user is just not linking to us.
Yay!
So look at that. There's a passion for horses that you probably didn't even know was existing in our shred community.
Yeah.
Isn't that always fun? I just love that. Like, we see these like little nuances and these little niches popping up all over the community that like people can connect in ways that we never thought before. Okay, so growing up like that, you had a lot of responsibility. How was that for you? Do you feel like that may have impacted you? Good, bad, indifferent, moving?
Yeah. Yeah, I think in a good way. I learned discipline right away. I learned disappointment right away. I learned you can put a lot of work into something and it may or may not happen. That's horses. But then I can also, the other thing I really learned was dedication to my passion. You know, I followed my dreams, and which was horses, and I built my life around horses, which is healthy and not healthy. And I don't regret it a bit because I've met amazing people. I've been all around the world thanks to horses. But it also created a lot of stress. I work too much, those unhealthy habits. The other thing, there's a lot of eating and drinking. You also develop, we have to wear white pants. And who looks good in white pants? I know I don't. I don't feel comfortable in white pants. And I can tell you, I have always struggled with my weight in our sport. You look better. You're smaller. Let's just be honest, in the show ring. And it is a lot about looks. And my strong nature, I really fought that a lot. And with my genetics, I don't have a lot of good eating habits. I love sweets. And I love my clients. They bring me lots of food and it makes me feel good. And so, also being on the stage, I've always been, it's an interesting phenomenon because I'm an only child. So I'm used to being on the spot. I'm an introvert. And I want to be left alone to be with my horses, but yet I'm out in the public. I own my own business. I put myself in front of thousands of people for them to judge me on a daily basis. Look I'm here on the internet. I am sharing with people my story, which actually I'm very uncomfortable with. And the only reason I do is because my friend asked me to post photos. And people posted and they said, hey, this really helps me. And so taking that step back, being the fat kid that loves cake, right? And always heavier. I've had many comments made about my body, being out in the public. And as any person, we all have insecurities. And you know, sometimes it's very hurtful what people say. And, you know, that, and again, going back to your original question, how, you know, what have you developed? I've developed, I don't like people. And that's where the shredder community has been so helpful, because I really have found my tribe. Because in the horse community, I'm just going to put it out there, they very nice, and I have found a lot of very nice horse people. But you know, being competitive, you have friends and you're, you know, working hard for this goal, and it's backstabbing, and then there are some really great people, and we're all alike, we just want to be with the horse. And so, and I have clients that may be difficult, and you know, that you eating makes you comfortable and makes you feel good and makes you so fat, and that cycle just continues on. And so I really feel like I have found my tribe, and I really felt it on Monday. You know, I've been always feeling it, because you know, I have never met a single one of you. And I read the blog, and you know, and I can come in, I can like disappear for 2 weeks, and I can come back, and I can fall off the shred, and everybody is so supportive. And then I read what people write. I lurked for a while, and I read what people write, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel the same way. And then I read what helps people, and then I'm like, I'm going to try that. And then I'm going to try that. And that worked, and that didn't work. And, you know, it's just a beautiful community. And I am in a funk right now. And Monday was an amazing day, because I was on a call with Susan and Sean. And it's not just about eating. It's, you know, it's just that, you know, when you're in a funk, you got people out there, and that's pretty amazing. And I can tell you, in my sport, that's not out there, you know, and I've been trying to actually do that in my sport, this community that we've created, all of us together. I've tried to create in the horse world, and have keep poking at people, my neighbors, and to have found you guys make me very emotional. I can't thank you enough.
And I can connect with you on that so much. I want to go back a little bit. I want to go back to those white pants, right?
Yeah.
The show gear. And I can relate in some ways. You know, I'm a middle school orchestra director by day. Mm-hmm. I'm a shreducator by night. And I had to do like the suit with my backside to the auditorium full of people. So like, I can feel what you were talking about of being on stage. You know, you're on stage and everybody's looking and they're judging. And like, for me, it was, they were judging my kids and they're looking at my backside. Like there is no hiding that because of where I am. So how long do you think that image of like feeling like you don't look good in those white pants, what do you think that did to you mentally? Like what impact do you think it had on you? Did it, or do you think it even had an impact on you? Because I know it can be very self-conscious being in that spotlight, you know, maybe, and because you're more introverted, thankfully I was a performer my whole life. So you get what you get, and I'm like this every day. But I also know a lot of musicians that have that same, you know, that same introverted personality. I just want to sit and play my horn, but I have to go and put it in front of everybody, and they're looking at me and they're judging me. And for you saying, you know, those white pants, which why they would do that and how dirty it is, and I don't understand it.
Like, I do. It's beautiful. I mean, when you're a certain size or a certain figure, damn, they look beautiful. You know, those ladies just look stunning. But, you know, there's the reality. I mean, there's other people. I mean, all of us, first of all, there's a lot of great things that those white pants did for me. And I'll actually talk about that first. And that is, so I've struggled my entire life with weight in those white pants, my entire career. I've never felt comfortable. And I got to a point where I said, I just don't give a fuck. I love me, and if you don't accept me for who I am, that's okay. You're not for me. But that took 35 years. That's a long time of, dealing with that. And I think there are other people with weaker, uh, you know, traits that they really struggle, and they actually quit riding. I actually know that for a fact. They don't ride, or they don't take off their coat because they're trying to hide their roles. Well, I hate to tell you, when we're riding and bouncing around, we're not hiding anything. Nothing's hidden. And again, we put ourselves out there. And for me, it made, I've had anonymous letters written to myself and my clients. I've had my clients actually get emails from people and said, wow, Megan really needs to think about another bra. Like, I've had some mean things. And you obviously look inward, because that's just, I'm a perfectionist, and someone who's a perfectionist, you go, what are these people thinking? Like, they should be looking at my horse and looking at how beautiful I make my horse, no matter what size I am, and obviously, I'm an athlete. I want to look like an athlete. I want to look that way. And when you don't have the tools, you're either going to persevere like I did. Pretty much no one can tell me no if I put my mind to it. But I'm just like anyone else. I have feelings. I hurt. I have that evil demon voice in there that's telling me, damn, you're fat. What do you think you're doing? You're not enough. It's there. And either I'm going to push through it. And that's also what the horses have given me in dressage specifically. When you're going through the bad, you got to push through to the good. And that's what I feel I have made it to. I have pushed through all that bad, all that crap. I love me. And I think it's also a mental thing. It's not just, we go through this change. First of all, we need to be ready. And it's almost like smokers quitting, alcoholics quitting. It's a real thing. And we have to get to our low, and we have to love ourselves and say, I'm doing this for me. And I'll be honest, I have a personal trainer as a fiance, and he's gorgeous. He is gorgeous. And, he was my motivation because at night, and you're going to bed and you're going to take off your clothes, let's be honest, you want to look attractive for your person. And, but before that, I love myself. But then I was like, okay, I'm turning 40, what's going on? So I had all my labs done, and I talked to my doctor, and the doctor gets the labs back, and, oh, you're so healthy, you're this and that. And, I'm physically fit. I was running 4 days a week, 4.5 miles, and I'm still overweight. It's like, what the hell? Riding 8 horses, still overweight. So then talking to the doctor, he's like, well, you really need to talk to this Susan Rothman. She is a holistic nurse, and she can tell you some really neat diets. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. I've hit rock bottom, whatever. I've tried it all.
All right. So
whatever.
How did Susan's in Florida? You're in Wisconsin. How did this doctor connect you to Florida? Like, help me follow this map.
Isn't it wild? So my mother actually got connected to this doctor in Florida, and she flew to the doctor and said he was so amazing, Dr. Dash. And I was
awesome.
Yeah. And I heard about him for like, I don't know, 6 months. I'm like, yeah, whatever, Mom. Sure, another doctor. And whatever. And then he goes, well, I'll pay for your labs. And I'm like, yeah, great. I don't want to waste my time, and money on another doctor. And because prior to that, with all my stress and my business, I actually was having GI problems. And I went to the doctor. I spent $1,200, and all they told me is go to Walmart, get some Fiber One, get this, Mucilix, get this. And I was like, then I was on like 6 different things. And I'm like, I still feel like crap. Okay, sure. So she actually paid for my labs. And then, and I never went there. So it's called, oh shoot, I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, the blood was sent.
The new age.
And so he looked it over. We had a video just like this, and we were talking, and I literally said, Doc, great, I'm healthy. Why am I fat? And he's like, well, you need to talk to Susan. Okay, let's talk to Susan. And Susan, she's great. She's amazing. I am so glad that we are connected. She's my people. And we've never met. You know,
that's so crazy. And for those of you who don't know, Susan is our head of the health professional side of the ER Shred board. So rock star right there. You found your way to like the person to connect to. I find it so fascinating. Like a doctor's appointment in Florida from Wisconsin. I was like, wait a minute.
Who knew, right?
So you're living this life with horses, riding athletic, but you're living in this constant state of overweight. And so that's when you finally reached out to Dr. Dash, who connected you to Susan. And you started your journey.
It wasn't even that. I wasn't even looking to lose weight. I was like, you know what? I've spent years trying to lose weight, these yo-yo diets. This is me. Take me or leave me. And if you don't like me, then so be it. I literally, I wasn't looking to lose weight. It was my mother who purchased the labs. I talked with Dr. Dash, and I was just like, yeah, whatever. I'm healthy. Great. Good to know. Turning 40. But I'm still fat, like that. And I just said it like that. And then he handed me off to Susan, thank God. And then she was telling me, these 3 diets and paleo and something else. And I was like, I don't have time to make meals. And just like anybody else, you analyze that and it's like, why don't you have time for your life? And I'm learning that, why don't you have time to improve your quality of life? Because I'm busy, I'm busy being important. And, in that life, you just work. I would work until I got sick, and then I work until I got sick. And, that's one of the downfalls of my life before. And so then connecting with Susan, she was like, oh, you could try this ER shred. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. That sounds interesting. I'll give it a whirl. I literally was that way. And so, and I had been on isogenics before, and I had told her that, and we didn't incubate the shakes, and I just wasn't successful on it. I had lost a few pounds, and so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll try it again. The shakes make more sense into my life, and this meat thing sounds interesting. I don't eat a ton of meat. I'm a fishy kind of person, and obviously you can eat fish as well, but this meat stuff is kind of interesting. So I just gave it a whirl, and I was like, no way. I think I lost like 11 pounds or somewhere around there. I really don't remember it. And I was like, no way, 11 days. Oh, it must have been more. It must have been like 15. And I was like, how did that happen? And I started to feel good. And the other really cool thing about the shred is it's mental. It is mental, because I was like, I can't not eat for 4 days. Are you out of your mind, woman? Do you know what I do? I run and I ride horses, and I'm an athlete. I have to fuel my body. Interesting, isn't it? And so then just getting that mental control over food, I think, is really important for me, because like food really controlled me. I had a bad day. I had a difficult client, or I won a show, or, I have to eat. I have to celebrate, and I feel good. I feel great when I eat that cupcake. And I was like, wait a minute. But then I dive, and then I'm like in a fog. And so then I tried this shred thing, and I was like, wow, I actually feel good. But then I was like, you know what? I can go eat a cake, a little ice cream. I survived the 11 days, and then I felt terrible. Terrible. I was like, ooh, we got to try that shred again.
Crazy how,
yeah,
we thought we were okay and we felt all right and we felt decent, but then we do that shred and we have that come alive moment. And then it's like you go back to what, you were eating when you felt all right, and you feel like trash. Is it just me, or it's like you go back to that old way thinking, oh, it's a treat for myself, I can treat myself, and you feel awful. Like, I will tell you, I had 2 ounces of wine the other night, right? I used to come home and drink a bottle a night. I'm not going to lie. I teach middle school. I had 2 ounces of wine, and I woke up like I was on fire. Like, literally night sweats. Like, I didn't even finish the glass that I had poured. And I'm like, over here, I'm sitting here going, this is crazy.
It is.
I used to drink it by the bottle. And 2 ounces does me in. Like, I think part of that is just that not really understanding how good you're designed to feel is crazy. And it can happen in your first 11 days, but you've done more than 11 days. How many shreds do you think you've actually done?
I don't know. It's been more than a year, and I try to do 1 a month. And we have to be totally honest here too. I fucked some of them up. Yeah. Like, I think that's really important for people to understand. Like, I am not perfect. Even now, like I wanted to bring up, like, mentally, I'm dealing with some things, like personal things, self-development, growth, I'm working on that internal voice, even though I feel amazing, right? I felt amazing. And then it's like, whether it's my competition, so I feel like I suck right now, right? And it's not, but what's important, it's not that I suck. It's that I also then went and I've eaten granola. I'm not even eating bad food, like, but it is, it's not like I went and ate cake like I used to. There's no candy. I just had like, oh, I want a little granola and this and that. And then I also had broccoli, which got me. And I just like in this funk. And so now I really have to, okay, we need to get back to that. But what I've noticed is how connected to food we are. I think that's really important. Duh, we put it in our mouth every day, right? But how really connected we are, how it chemically changes our emotions, and how, like, I've been feeling kind of depressed, and that's not me. Like, I'm usually a bubbly person, but like I said, I'm working on things. And so it's like, oh, and that has been really eye-opening. The food doesn't control me anymore, but it does make me, if I'm not on the shred, I'm like, ooh. And I've changed my eating habits, but this granola has really messed me up. And almond milk. I'm like, but they sell it to us as healthy. This is not healthy. So it's important to realize that.
And we never know, because it might work for somebody else. And that's part of the power of the protocol as well. Like, some people might do really well on almond milk. I'm okay with broccoli. I can't have a snap pea to save my life, because people it's crazy.
And it's really a journey in self-development. And I think it's just accepting all of those things, and like self-sabotage, like is really there, and being okay with that and accepting that part of us. And so that's the journey I'm currently on. Like, I'm like, ooh, good wolf over here, bad wolf over here. Meat stick, cake.
Meat stick, granola, apparently, right? Right?
It really has been that way. And, and I think sometimes it's okay to be in a funk too, because then you really appreciate the good feelings that you get. But I am really amazed at how much it's been affecting me.
And I am like, I get that too. And I think your journey is sounding similar to mine in ways like every time you shred, it might not be perfect, but maybe your focus is different. So like I did my shred at first for the weight loss in the inches. But then it was like, I was one of those toxic scale syndrome people. And so my next goal was to shred the scale defining me. And then it's like, shred the need to be okay with everything. Shred, there's so many different goals. And I love how so much of your journey is about the mindset and the mind interrupters. Because yes, what is it, 45 pounds you've lost in countless inches?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's crazy.
That's phenomenal. Like, first of all, props to you for that. But yet we've been talking for over a half an hour now, and we've barely talked about that.
Yeah.
And that is one of the more powerful things that I think. We talk about the community, we talk about the mindset, because there's so much there. So once you start feeling good, then you see that impact. So as you're like having your funk moments or your observation of these weird things that are happening, it sounds like you're food journaling, right? So you kind of can trace it back. No? Okay. Because you were able to.
But I think about things. I analyze everything.
Whether you write it down mentally or physically writing it down, you can kind of step back and say, hey, my mood changed. I introduced this food yesterday or the day before.
Yep.
And you're making those mind, body, food connections. If you are not like Megan, I strongly encourage you to journal your food. Am I right? Because you are observing those things as part of your journey. But what other tips, tricks do you have for shredders who might need those interrupting moments, or those moments of grace for themselves when they're in those mindsets? Because you sound like you're really on it and you're really doing the work to interrupt that mindset, which is so important. But what do you have? Like, are there key phrases to yourself or activities or some kind of a trigger that you give yourself to kind of pause in that moment to be able to move through it?
I actually go to the shred group. I contribute to the shred group a ton. Not personally, but like I pull out. Like, I try to contribute, but I honestly couldn't do it without the group. And I know some people are different. Like, I've encouraged people to join the group, and they're like, I just don't do Facebook. But when I am in a lull, I just go to the group, and I'm like, oh, there's people out there struggling like me, and like that first shred, I went to the group and I saw the same question I was thinking, like, I'm not feeling well today. I want to quit, and someone already felt that way. And so that I wouldn't have been successful without the group. Hands down. That's number one. Number two, I look at my goals in life. I look at my fiance, who I want to be healthy for, and I want to live a long life. I also have, with my business, I have a lot of mouths to feed and a lot of responsibilities, that I just like, I look at them. In terms of saying things when I'm in a funk, I just go like that inner voice starts talking and is like, "Ooh, you're getting fat. Ooh, you're not pretty. You got to get ready for the show," or whatever that thing is saying. And I just go, "Yeah, yeah, I accept you too. I accept you, and I accept where I'm at right now." And I think that's really important. Not sweeping it under the rug, just embracing all of it, the good, bad, and the ugly, and being vulnerable. Because like it took, I don't know, how long have I been, 30 some years of having all this weight, and then it's only taken me a year to take that weight off. Just being more patient with myself. The other thing I've been doing is I went to a mastermind group. I'm doing things that I haven't done before. Being out here in California, I get a day off. I take a day off, and I go do.
You know
something.
what that is? Or only these 3 months do you know what that is?
I didn't know what a day off was. So now I take days off and I don't focus on it. The other thing that I learned on Monday is I can call people and ask for help, which I've never had that before. Usually people come to me, and although I have to say there is one person in my life who has always been there, and she's always like, "Hey, how was your day?" And she is a student very close to me. So, but for the most part, I've always been that strong one, and you can't really let your walls down. And so, I'm learning to do that.
I can completely relate to you on that, because that's, I feel that as a music teacher, as a mom, I'm always, and then you guys see me as head of the board, you see that I'm nonstop. And so I agree with you, learning to admit that it's okay to ask for help. And that, going back to the community, you talk about authenticity and vulnerability. And I feel like, because so many of us, when we're in that place, when we're in that community group, right? Mm-hmm. We know we love all people wherever they're coming mm-hmm. into us, and we're here to support. So we have created this space where authenticity and vulnerability are the norm. Mm-hmm. And that in society is not the norm. And so I think so many of us have been trained and ingrained to be the strong face, to be there for everybody, and internalize it to figure it out for ourselves. And then in turn, that leads to so many underlying health issues. Mm-hmm. And it's a really big learning process. And I too am grateful for the community that allows us to do this. Mm-hmm. Sean and Crystal are very open about their journey and their experiences, and they are leading us by that example. And I truly think them being the example of that has made the rest of us feel safe to start letting that guard down, because that guard of always having to be the one with the answer, always having to be the one to make it work and figure it out for everybody else, is another layer of armor that we have put on for so many years that we need to shred. And I am with you. Like, Susan and I are on the phone daily. Interrupting me, like, Heather, there's a boundary you need to set here. Cut it out. Right? And what I love, and honestly, I don't think I have met Susan in person except maybe once at a group photo in 2016. But if I did, that was like in passing, right?
That's awesome.
Every day, right? We talk every day. There's a weird day if we don't communicate. So I completely feel you. And that is why she is where she is as the head of our ER Shred health professionals. But it's just that layer to take down and to have people help us interrupt. And the other thing that I think I noticed for myself, and let me know how you feel about this, is I'm shredding some of that armor that I'm willing to accept it and hear it a little bit better too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, oh yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of things I am shredding. It's funny because I was talking to my fiance last night about peeling my onion in my baggage, and it's just all flaking off and it's really uncomfortable. You know, and this, you know, this is uncomfortable. You know, this is all over the world can hear my story. And again, as someone who has always been judged and criticized, even by my coaches, you know, even previous coaches, you know, they haven't always been supportive or said nice things, you know, like, oh, Megan, do you really want your weight to be what holds you back? You know, and you're like, well, shit. Do you really think I want to look like this? Like, come on, you know, like that's not helpful. That's not helpful criticism. You know, you could say something else. Oh, and going back to your original question, the other thing that is helping me do this is, like I said, my friend asked me to post a picture because I was telling her I've lost weight, and then she started her journey, and she was like, you know, it'd be really helpful. And so I made a post, and like all these people were like, whoa, what are you doing? And wow, that's really helpful. And to help other people is a new concept for me. I mean, obviously I teach people how to ride, but I really want to make the horse's life better. And in order to make a horse's life better, you have to teach people, right? I personally just want to ride horses. I don't want to teach people. Mm-hmm. And so on this journey, I'm like, wow, I really struggled, and you know, I came alive and I feel great. And I'm like, there's so many more people struggling. I want to share this with everyone. And like I said, I used to be a people person. I wasn't, and now maybe that's changing because of the group. And now I want to share it. I want to help people. I want to show them like, hey, here's the buffet, but here's another option to help you. This is what helped me. I hope you give it a try. And it is interesting to see people where they are at, and how many people say no or try to talk themselves out of it, you know. And it makes me sad because I'm like, I told you about it, but you didn't even give it a chance. And you just want to like, just try it. It's 11 days, just once. And if it doesn't work, no problem, because it isn't for everyone. It isn't. Mm-hmm. But I want you to actually give it a chance, because I feel like it could help you. Because, like, you know, I used to, you know, in the cold and winter, my joints started to hurt. And when I'm on a shred, I don't hurt. And I have all these people in my life. I mean, obviously, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, but I'm like, just experience it once, you know, and just see if what you eat is hurting you. You know, I mean, what do you have to lose?
Yeah, nothing. Exactly. And I think part of what's happening too is, as we are more aware internally, it's coming out in our relationships with people. And therefore, you know, I don't blame you for wanting to deal with the horses rather than the people. I can completely hear that. But I think we've shredded another layer, that we hear people differently, and we hear what's in the message that they're not saying. And we know because we have had our come alive moment and we've had amazing results. And just to make sure all I's are dotted and T's are crossed, this is Megan's story, and our disclaimers have been scrolling across the chat because we don't treat, cure, prevent anything. The disclaimers have been scrolling through our entire call, so we are covered. But I did just want to bring people's attention to that because we don't always read right away. But when we have that piece and we have that component, it then can change because people know and they can sense, because of our vulnerability and our authenticity, which is key to our community, they know it's coming from a real place. And it's not coming from that coach who's telling you, hey, Megan, you probably want to lose a few pounds for riding to whatever. And if that person came to you and then said, hey, Megan, you're going to do this protocol, you'd probably say some colorful language and walk away, which I would do the same because that's who I am.
If my coach had given me this protocol, I just would have done it. I just would have put my head down and I would have done it, and
more
I would
power
have tried
to you,
it.
because if people were judging me and telling me I needed to do things and doing it in an unkind way, I would have never taken a look. Because I would have looked at them. You don't know me well enough to be able to tell me this stuff. Back up. So good for you for doing that, because that, if somebody approached me that way, I would shut down the opportunity just because of the presentation. And so I think the mindset that we have been able to build allows us to honestly and openly say, I hear your pain. And I think I have a solution if you give me 11 days.
And also, the other thing that the shred has given me is choosing the people I want in my life. Like going back to the coaches that I've had, or just people that are friends that have not always been support, or even clients. And it was eye-opening because I was like, as a student of dressage, at least it's very military. When I started in the 80s, and basically you're a soldier and you just shut up, you take it and you ride and you ride through the bad to get to the good. And that's where my mindset is I would have taken the suggestion and run with it, right? But it's also eye-opening because you're like, ooh, that's not a nice person I hung around with for so long. You start to analyze, and which is actually caused conflict with my fiance, because I'm like, I don't want to spend time with that person. That person's fake. I don't know how long I'm here for. But I don't want to spend my time with that individual. And that's also what the shred has awakened, because I'm like, God, I'm so alone. These are the things I feel about myself. Like I want to be a nice person. I want to help people, but I kind of, because of my experiences, I kind of just hide away in the woods. Right. And now I'm like, I have found people like me who, are dedicated to their passion, whether it's helping people like Sean and Crystal and Susan, or whether it's myself that, or the horses, yourself, you're helping children, but we all support each other. And I don't want to waste my time anymore with someone who is negative. And like I said, every once in a while I hear those negative voices, and that's why I go to the shred, because I'm like, well, I don't want to be that person. I want to be positive, but I accept I do have negative in me. It's just,
and accepting that is huge, because so many people deny it. And when you deny something, it's only going to fester and become more of an issue. So accept it, and then, like Susan said, tell it to shut up. Right?
Yeah. Or just redirect. It's like a kid, like, hey, shiny object over here. Come on. That's what I do. Actually, that is a good tip. So that little voice whispers whatever she whispers, and I go, oh yeah, I hear you. You're pretty. But let's look over there. There is a nice shiny object over there. And that's what I do, you know. And the other, this just reminds me, another thing that I do is I have folders. I had a sports psychologist help me. And I have folders, you know, there's the 8-year-old me, there's the 15-year-old me, and then there's the 20-year-old me. And you know, when you meet a person or you have a coach that puts you back into that 8-year-old person, right? And you say, that's my folder. That's my 8-year-old folder. And all those emotions are real. And they come back to us even if we're 40 and we're 60, right? And you say, that's in me. That little folder, that 8-year-old, the one that you were so mean to. But you know what? I'm going to put my little folder over there, and I'm 40 now. And I am one tough bitch, but I feel everything. And I accept 8, 7, all of it. And so and that's what the riding has given me as well, because, you know, you have to train a horse and then you got to go in and there's no time. You enter that arena, there is no time for emotions. And I can just back into that folder. And then when I want to deal with it, I open that folder and I say, okay, now we're working on it. Right now we're working on 27. That's what I'm working on. The baggage from when I was 27. Here we go, people. So those are two really helpful things that I use, redirecting and folders.
I love that. And I love that you're able to like try and put the pieces together to help you organize and work through it, and understanding you have these folders you have to come back to. And so they're on your radar for work, but you can also give yourself grace to say, I need to disconnect right now because of what I need to do. Because I guarantee you, if you're like emotionally gone somewhere and you're working with a horse, you've got a safety issue on your hands, right?
Yep. Yeah, you cannot. That's the other thing with horses too, and that might be another thing to point out with the 11 days. Is people pick your 11 days. Don't pick it, you know, like you know you're going to go to a Christmas party. Go to the Christmas party, have some fun, get toxic, and then start again. You know, like really plan it out. And it's the same way with the horses. When I'm having a bad day, I don't go see the horses. It's not their fault I'm having a bad day. I either lunge them or I walk away or have a trail ride. It depends on the level of my day. And so that is something that the horses have gifted me and that my coaches have instilled in me. It's not the horse's fault. And that's the other thing is look in the mirror. You know, like really look at yourself. And since I was the age of 8, I've been really comfortable in the mirror because we have mirrors at the end of our ride hall and we're always looking at ourselves. So I'm very, very comfortable looking at myself. However, you need to look at yourself nicely. You know, because I've been pretty brutal to myself, but I can also be really nice and I need to be nicer. So I think that's also really important. Look in the mirror and love yourself.
And I also think look in the mirror and say, is it in your control? Is it something you have power over? Or do you need to look in the mirror and say, that's somebody else's baggage. I need to let that go and focus right here. You know, focus on me. Because I know that's something that I'm still working on, is that I'll carry other people's baggage. And then, wait a minute, that's not my issue. Why am I carrying this for them? So shred that when you're looking in the mirror.
The other thing that's been interesting is as I focus inward, I make people uncomfortable. And it's simply like I had a friend who wanted to come over with pizza. And I told her, I would love you to come over with pizza, but I ain't eating your pizza. I'm on like day 5. So I will make myself a hamburger, bacon, and eggs. And you eat your pizza. Everybody else can eat pizza. Oh my God, she got so mad at me. She was like, well, then I'm not bringing pizza. I will eat, and then I will come over, and then we will spend time together. And I'm like, yeah, but my mom's going to be there. My fiance is going to be there. Your husband's going to be there. Like, just bring the pizza. You want to eat it. I don't care. You can eat it in front of me. And then she came, and then, I made my food, and they made fun of me. And it wasn't about me. It was they were uncomfortable. And, you have to be mentally strong, because you're going to have a situation, and, you might have eaten the pizza.
Right.
Oh, well, either you're going to do it or you're not. You make that commitment to yourself. And if you eat the pizza, oh, well, but get ready for people to be uncomfortable, and which is really sad, because I don't care if you eat the pizza.
Right. And what you said, their reactions were not about you.
Yeah.
It was about them. And so when people look at our lifestyle and they make their comments and whatever, their comments are not about us, because we're living our lifestyle, we're living our truth, we're living who we feel we need to be. And we've accepted it. And we're not judging them for the lifestyle they're choosing, but their comments about ours is their own discomfort. It's their own insecurity. It's their own issue. And so I love that mindset that people need to, I think our new shredders need to embrace. Like, well, this person thinks I'm eating unhealthy. They're worried about me going to the doctor, blah, blah, blah. This one's worried about this. This one's worried about that. Everybody else is worried about us, but we're not worrying about ourselves. We're good. We figured it out. And that is a huge mindset piece, because we are people who have grown up so much with needing acceptance as a society. Mm-hmm. And because we're different, and I think this is why so many of us have found our tribe, is we're different. And we enjoy being different, and we embrace each other being different, and we embrace each other being their true self. And that's not what society wants us to accept. And we're saying, screw you. This is how we're living. And this is how we're living it. And your issues, if you don't accept us the way we are yours and not ours to carry.
Yep.
So I love all of that. Is there anything else on your heart you want to make sure our shred community gets?
Anyone looking in, I hope you give it a chance. I really do. And if it's not for you, that's okay. If it is, welcome. And then to fellow shredders, I can't thank you enough. I love all of you, even though I've never met you. And each and every one of you has helped me, and you don't even know it. And that's really beautiful. And we are better together. And I can't thank you enough. I love you all.
And I want to say thank you, because I know you shared even on this call that this was uncomfortable for you to come live and come out and share your story. And that makes us into that superhero level, because it does take us coming out of our comfort zone. But I was watching the comments through this whole conversation, and people got so much tremendous value from you and what you shared. So I want to thank you for allowing me to kind of push you a little bit out of that comfort zone and come on this call with me, because I know this is not a normal Tuesday night. But let's face it, if I'm filling in for one of the boys, you get to talk to me, right?
Well, thank you. Thank you for asking.
So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Tomorrow night, we have the Come Alive call. Join us on the Zoom. Get the energy from the community. It's so much fun to hang out with us in there. Zoom information is in the banner at the link scrolling across ershredders.com. And Thursday night, our Shred ambassador around the business, Bob Sivright, will have a business call for all of us. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday night.